Yo, welcome back, all my legacy people, to your favorite podcast and vodcast if you're watching. And hello to my one hater out there. I know who you are, and I'll find you. No, I won't, because I don't care who you are, actually. But the point that we're talking about today is copycat failure. What I mean by that is this. You're an original, and so many times we try to convince ourselves to be like somebody else, to copy their success and apply it to our own life, because certainly if it worked for them, it'll work for us, right? No, when you do that, you miss a huge opportunity for some of the greatest growth you could ever have. So stay tuned right here. Also, we're going to get you a free resource for you to apply literally today, right now on Your Legacy Podcast. Yo, welcome back once again. I'm Kinsley Jordan, your winning coach on Your Legacy Podcast. And you've had people ask me before, why do you call it Legacy Podcast? Well, I'll tell you why. Is because if there's one thing I want to help you do, it's to forge a legacy in your life. That's why you always hear me talk about crushing goals, igniting dreams, and forging a legacy in your life. Well, this is why, is because I want you to be able to leave a legacy of who you are and what was important to you, to your children and your children's children, and if you don't have kids, to your cat. And if you're not a cat person, maybe your dog. But that's the important piece, is that there are skills and there are lessons that we can learn that literally will help you in your life starting right now. So before that, we'll take a quick commercial break. Thanks to our sponsors. We don't have one. So if you want to be a sponsor, you can sponsor right here. Anyway, okay. The whole point today, we're talking about copycat failure. What does it mean to be that? Now, you've heard people say before, oh my gosh, they're such a copycat. And even when I was a kid, when people would copycat me or just repeat what I was saying over and over and over, it was so annoying. The most annoying thing. If you're a parent of a 3-year-old or 2-year-old or 4-year-old or 7-year-old, or really, frankly, anything under 10, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The copycat. It can drive you nuts. But in your life, sometimes we take these things that really drive us nuts and we apply them to our own lives. Sometimes I've had friends, so many friends and so many clients who look at these people that they emulate and say, man, if I could just be like them. And then they take that person that they emulated, the person they looked up to, and they take that model of success of whatever they've done, and they try to just carbon copy it to their life, only to find themselves incredibly frustrated some amount of time later, and sometimes a lot of money spent. And they ask themselves, why did this not work? We see this so many times in industry, in big industry. The best example I have, and I didn't bring the book with me, but there's this phenomenal book. Big shout out to Simon Sinek. Hey, boy, holla at your boy. He's awesome, man. It's this book called Infinite Game. And one of the examples that Simon Sinek talks about and uses is this rivalry between Apple and Microsoft. In case you don't know, Simon Sinek, he's not only spoken at Apple conferences, but Microsoft has asked him to come and speak as well. And he talks about an example that is so interesting because he had spoken at this Microsoft conference, and what they talked about at Microsoft was how they were going to beat Apple and how they were going to be so successful, and this is how they're going to take back the market, and this is how they're going to succeed. But then when he went to Apple, the only thing they talked about is how they pursued this desire to be better than themselves, to offer their customers the best experience, the best technology, the best interface they possibly could. And it was really shocking to him to realize this. They realized that Microsoft was competing to try to beat Apple, but Apple was competing to try to beat themselves. Now think about this. In your life, if you're constantly trying to live this life and compete, not against yourself, but try to be somebody else, we're never going to win. Why? It's because you have gifts and talents inside of yourself. And when you try to be somebody else, you actually lose the benefit and the capability and the effectiveness of what was going to make you successful. There's so many stories of whether it's an athlete or whether it's an actor or maybe a professional or a public figure that for the longest time they tried to emulate and be like somebody else. But once they started realizing the gifts that they had and they started actually walking in those gifts, whether or not, if it was a singer or whether it was an actor or being their own personality, they unlocked something that actually got them discovered. They unlocked a skill and a talent that actually made the world go, hold up, who's this? Who is this person? They're awesome. Admittedly, I'd done this before a long, long time ago, just part of my testimony, but I'd done this a long time ago. In junior high, I couldn't get a friend. I tried to buy a friend one time. You know what happened? I paid him $5 to be my friend. No kidding, this is in 5th grade. You know what took place? The dude took my $5 and I didn't have a friend at the end of it. I couldn't get somebody to like me because that's just who I was at that point. But I realized it was because I was doing everything I could to try to emulate and be just like them. And there was this turning point in my life personally where I realized, you know what? Like, I need to be myself. Not just be myself, but I need to look at the goals, look at the things that I am good at, look at the goals I have in my life, and look at the things that I'm good at, and just go after it. And be myself, and not be ashamed of what it is that I do well in my life. And you know what happened after that? I'll tell you. Kinsley, what happened? Thanks for asking. Everything changed. When I started actually just being myself and being confident in who I was and realizing that I am a bit of a weird guy and I have my own personality and my own thoughts and I really don't care what anybody thinks about it, I started realizing people liked me for being the original that I was. And instead of trying to be like everybody else and be like the personality that they had and think what they thought was funny and wear what they wore. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but in Central Kansas in early 2000s, 1999 timeframe, the mesh Adidas shirts, those were hot. With a gold chain, you were somebody. So guess what I was wearing? The Adidas shirt and a gold chain. You know where that got me? Nowhere. I bring all this up for this purpose. So many of us in our lives try to look at what we want to do and where we want to go and think we have to be exactly like the people who are doing what it is that we want to do. Now, there's a difference. You've heard me talk a lot about having a mentor or having a coach or somebody that you look up to and surrounding yourself by the people and with the people who are doing what you want to do in your life. But there's a difference, and it's something you got to know and you got to learn, is that you don't want to be them. You want to have capabilities like them. You want to have skills and learn the lessons that they've learned. But you've been given gifts and capabilities that only you have. And when we try to copy somebody else, what we do is we take those things that we are really good at, we throw them out the door, and we try to make ourselves into somebody else. And I can tell you from psychology, I can tell you from human performance and human behavior, and just the mindset and andragogy and how people learn and how adults learn, is that when you're trying to be someone else and you're not being true to who you are as an individual and who you've been made to be, you will constantly be living in this false pretense mindset and you will never truly be fulfilled. That's one of the things we focus on right here at the Legacy Podcast is exactly that, is that we want to get you to a place of fulfillment. My job in life that I've realized is this, is connect people to their passion for a purpose to create fulfillment in their life. Now, the interesting thing about that is that nowhere in that whole statement do I talk about making somebody into a carbon copy of someone else. Nowhere do I ever talk about trying to get them to chase after somebody else's dream. No. It has everything to do with the individual. It has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with the skills and the talents and the gifts that you have. You're an original. Stop trying to be like somebody else. Today, what you've got to realize is this. Your greatest gift and talent is not following somebody else's path to success. It's learning and realizing what your path to success is going to be. And that's not by being somebody else. It's by being yourself, starting to realize and get comfortable in your own skin. And I know a lot of people, that takes a long time to get comfortable with who you are, to get comfortable with the mindset of what you're really good at. But listen, when you realize what you're good at and when you truly find your passion and what makes you click and what makes you go, you are going to start moving forward in exponential growth in exponential ways. I kid you not, because now it's not you trying to be somebody else. It's you being exactly who you are in the powerful ways that you are. So when we come back in just a moment, what we're going to do is talk about the easiest way to be able to find what you're good at and how do you actually do it. So stay tuned. Also, I still want to get you that free resource today. So stay tuned. It's going to be something you don't want to miss right here on the Legacy Podcast. Yo, thanks for watching the Legacy Podcast right here with your winning coach, Kinsley Jordan. And if you don't want to miss out on the awesome content we have for you each and every week, then make sure you hit the subscribe button right over there and the bell to get the notifications every time we got a new episode just for you. don't forget to hit it. Also, if you want to follow along with me, make sure that you follow along on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Kinsley Jordan as I push out new content each and every day to make sure that you're staying encouraged to crush your goals, ignite your dreams, and forge a legacy in your life. Which brings me to the point. If you're looking for a performance coach to help you not only build healthy habits in your life, but really draw out a plan of connecting you to your passion for a purpose to create fulfillment in your life, then don't miss out for the chance for me and my team to be your performance coach. You can go to www.kinsleyjordan.com, get signed up right now, and we will reach out to you for a free, yeah, I said it, free consultation to be able to determine how we can get you very quickly and very soon on your path to high-performing success in your life. Stay tuned. We're going right back to the Legacy Podcast. Yo, welcome back once again. Kinsley Jordan, your winning coach on your Legacy Podcast. And we were just talking about copycat failure and why so many people fail at getting to their goals, getting to success, at building healthy habits in their life, because frankly, they try to be somebody else. And when you try to be somebody else, all you do is you become an imposter. And what happens with an imposter is that you're not using the gifts that you've been given. You don't use the talents you've been given to your benefit. In fact, you ignore them and you throw them away. So many times people will try to emulate, whether it's a public figure, they try to emulate a movie star or somebody that they really look up to. Maybe sometimes businesses try to emulate another business's success and they take their model and try to do exactly what they did. But you know how annoying a copycat is? If you don't, let me tell you. There is nothing more annoying than somebody who continues to repeat everything you just said, or a child that continues to repeat the question, why? So why is it annoying? The point of it, the reason why it's annoying is because you're not actually getting anything new. All you're doing is repeating the same thing that was been said before. And there comes a point where you start ignoring what's being said because it's nothing new. In your own life, think about this. The gifts that you've been given allow you to be original, allow you to bring new content, allow you to create new ideas and whatever it is. If all you're doing is emulating what somebody else has done, then the world is seeing something that has already been accomplished. Listen to that. If you're copying what somebody else has already done, then the world is just getting to see something that has already been done before. The thing is that you have something special to offer. You really do. You are an original. There's no two people in the world that are perfectly identical with the same mentality, the same personality, the same mindset, the same sense of humor. Everybody is different. Everybody's got a different thumbprint or a fingerprint. Everybody has different DNA. Everybody is an individual and an original. And so many times we try to convince ourselves we need to be like somebody else. And if I can just do what they have done, then maybe, just maybe, I'll be as successful as they are. The truth is, we've got to get comfortable in our own skin. We've got to start recognizing and believing who we have been made to be. Stop trying to be somebody else and start being yourself. Be bold. Be yourself. Be courageous. Don't try to be somebody else. Be who you have made to be. And I know this seems like a very fluffy topic, but I'm telling you, the people who've been most successful, for example, Gary Vee. Gary Vaynerchuk is one of the guys who, this dude is an original. Like, a lot of people like him, a lot of people hate him because he is so eccentric, he's so out there, but there's one thing you can never say about Gary Vee is that he's a copycat. He's not. If you don't know who he is, Nick, if we can go ahead and put a link at the bottom of the show or at the bottom of the details, a link to Gary Vee. I mean, this guy's totally different. He's outspoken. He's bombastic. He cusses. He has all of this different personality. But you know what? Gary Vee is true to himself, and he's true to the origination of who he is. And I want you to be yourself. I want you to stop copycatting what other people have done and start asking yourself some hard questions. So today, your free giveaway, which we're going to get to in just a second, is going to be something that literally helps you identify who you are as an individual. But first, I want to give you 3 simple steps that are going to help you in your life identify your strengths and the things that make you an original. Step number 1 is this. You got to be willing to take feedback. If you're not willing to take feedback, then the other 2 steps are not going to work. And what I mean by that is this, I've said it before, people say, oh, you need to be able to take constructive criticism. Well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because you cannot have constructive and criticism in the same term. To criticize means literally to cut down. You're cutting something down. So how can you construct, build something up, and criticize, cut it down on the same thing? No. You can't do that. It's not constructive criticism, it's feedback. And the important piece about feedback is that when you have people who care enough about you to tell you the truth, you can actually get a lot of really great growth. That's why so many times top performing organizations, high performing individuals are constantly building a construct around them of feedback because they want to grow. They need to grow. They need people to tell them the truth. So the first step is this. You've got to wrap your mind around that you want feedback. You want to be a person that truly can hear what one of your friends or one of your coworkers or somebody that you look up to, that you're willing to hear what they have to say and not get defensive. Oh my gosh. I know, that's a hard pill to swallow. Not get defensive. And you may be saying, well, Kinsley, what if somebody says something mean about me? What if they just, all they ever do is tear me down? Well, okay, hold up. Feedback means sometimes there's good feedback and sometimes there's feedback that is going to allow us to grow. Feedback is not just constructive or destructive. Feedback is what you allow it to be. And it's not what somebody says that is hurtful. The thing that becomes hurtful about feedback is if you allow it to destroy you. Feedback is a mindset. It's not just words. If you go into a feedback session or you ask somebody to give you good information on what you can improve on, if you have a mindset that is ready to receive that, then you're going to have a mindset that says, you know what? I probably have some things I need to improve on, and I probably have some things that I can grow into. So I would rather have somebody tell me what I need to work on than not tell me and kind of be like the emperor running around naked. You know, you want somebody to tell you, hey man, you kind of have a weakness and you kind of need to work on this, right? So step number one in being able to be the true original that you are is this. You've got to get strong at feedback. You've got to get strong at being willing to accept feedback and realize that there's going to be some things we need to improve on. The second step is this. I want you to write down on a sheet of paper the 5 people that are closest to you in your life. No, literally do it right now. Go get a sheet of paper. No, okay. If you're listening audio and podcast, I'm literally looking at you in the camera right now. Go get a sheet of paper and I want you to take out a pen and pencil and write this down. Write down the 5 people who you have a closest relationship with. Yes. Very good. Okay, great. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to ask them what your greatest strength is. Yeah. I want you to go and ask them for honest feedback and give them this disclaimer. I don't need you to pump me full of good feelings of, oh man, just tell me what's good about me. No, forget that. Give me the info that's going to be good and help me grow. Tell me what my greatest strengths are. And here's the hard part. Also have them tell you the thing you need to work on the most. That's going to be painful. I know. But like I said, what's rule number 1? You need to get comfortable with being willing to accept feedback. Step number 2, like I said, write down the 5 people closest to you that will be honest with you, not tear you down, but the 5 people closest to you that will tell you what your greatest strength is and what one of the areas you need to work on is. And I'm not going to say weakness because weaknesses are just strengths that haven't been realized yet. Like that? Yeah, that was free. I'm not going to send you a bill. That was really, really good. Weaknesses are just strengths that have not been realized yet. You will grow in that. So the second step is take your 5 friends, write that down on a sheet of paper and go ask them what your strength is and maybe what your weakness is or the area you need to grow in. And the last step is this. Use it. Use it to your advantage. Like so many times people say, well, I never get any feedback, so I guess everything is good. No, we always have something we have to improve on or grow in. You are a fool if you think there's nothing that you can grow or improve on in your life. It's not even logical. And the people who think that they're doing really great in every area of their life are only fooling themselves. We know this. You know this. You know people that I'm talking about. I've been there in my own life where I'm smelling the perfection of my own stupidity that I think for some reason that I don't have anything to change. The reality is we all have things we have to work on. And if we get feedback and we ask people what our strengths and weaknesses are, we would be remiss and we would be foolish if we didn't take that third step and use that to our advantage. And what I mean by that is this. When you find out what your greatest strength is, then what has just been identified to you is how you are truly an original. Right. That's a gift that you have been given. Now, say, for example, you're a great public speaker. Are there other great public speakers in the world? Well, yeah, there are. There's a lot of people who are keynote speakers or TED Talk speakers. But it doesn't mean that you don't have a gift in it. What it actually means is that if you know what your strength is, Now you can start working towards utilizing that in your everyday life. Not being ashamed of who you are, but actually using that strength to your benefit. Now, you may say, well, yeah, but what about my weaknesses? What am I supposed to do with those? You identify what they are and you start working on those. That's how you use them. When you know that you're weak in an area, say, for example, bodybuilder. Everybody jokes about, leg day, I hate leg day. So you see all these guys walking around with huge muscles, as you can tell, like myself. But you never see my legs, so you don't know I have chicken legs. Actually, I have calves of a god. Should we get a zoom in on that? No, probably not. Okay, maybe another episode. But I have calves. Oh, they're delicious. Oh, leg day. It's great. But anyway, you see bodybuilders walk around and they'll forget leg days. They just work on their upper body. Well, how ridiculous is it if you know you have a weakness, but you don't work to fix it? So that's step number 3 of using it. You can use your strengths and you can use your weaknesses to help improve yourself. And being an original doesn't mean that we ignore our strengths and weaknesses. What it means is that we recognize what they are. We're willing to look at the things that we're good at. We're willing to look at the things that we're bad at. And we utilize that to our own success. We utilize that in moving forward in our life. And that how you utilize that in your life is this. It's really simple. You work on it every day. You work on honing in on those skills that you are really, really good at. You work on honing in on those skills and improving the things that you're weak at. So if you don't like getting feedback from somebody, I encourage you, if that's one of your weak areas that you don't like to have people tell you need to fix things, I encourage you to do this. Ask somebody for their opinion or their feedback every single day. Every single day. I have so many clients that this is probably the hardest thing because I am your winning coach and I do help people align, grow efficiency in their life and grow performance in their life so they can achieve their goals. Like I always say, crush their goals, ignite their dreams, and forge a legacy in their life. That's what your winning coach does. But this is one of the hardest things for people to wrap their mind around is this. Feedback is your friend. It's not something that's going to tear you down. It's not something that's going to crush you. It is your friend if you allow it to be. And when we do these 3 things, when we truly, honestly allow ourselves to get good at taking feedback, we ask our closest 5 friends of what we're strong at and what our weaknesses are. And then we take a mindset and say, you know what, I'm going to use this to my advantage. And I'm going to use these things to truly accentuate the capabilities and the gifts and the calling that I have that I'm really good at. Dude, you're going to crush whatever you want to go into. I promise you. Of all the clients I've had, that's one of the things that we focus on the most is getting feedback and realizing there are things that I'm good at that only I should be doing. Focus on the things that you are good at, that you should be doing, and be the original. Don't take somebody else's recipe for success. Make your own. And this is where our gift for the day, our resource, our free resource comes in, is this. I want to be able to give you a link to be able to take a personality test. Now, it's called the Enneagram, but what I love about the Enneagram is that there's 9 different personalities within this Enneagram. Now, I know you may say, hey, I've taken personality tests before. What is so special about this? Well, I'll tell you, I actually love the Enneagram because it not only identifies what your strengths are, but it also identifies some of the areas of improvement. But here's the thing. It shows you on a scale of when you are really operating in the fullness of your life, when you're really optimizing your life, it shows you how well you're operating in your strengths. But it also, if you're really at a place of frustration or depression or anxiety, it shows you what your characteristics will be if you're not in a place of fulfillment. I love it. It's so great. So right now, I want to send you that link. So Nick, we're going to throw that. Nick is my producer. He does an awesome job. Thanks, Nick. Round of applause for Nick. Yay! Hey. Nick's going to throw the link in the bio. Now that's to my link tree. And when you click on that link, it's going to take you to multiple different options. I want you to click the one that says free resource. Click on that link. And for this episode, I'm going to send you a link that's going to give you a 10% discount to the Enneagram. Take that link, click it, use it. I think that the Enneagram test ends up costing like $9 or $10 by the time you apply the link to or the discount to it. But use it because it's going to help you identify the original person that you are. And that's all what we're about here at the Legacy Podcast, is helping you to crush your goals, ignite your dreams, and forge a legacy in your life. Yeah, you got it. That's right. That's right. Hey, so today's episode, listen, it has been truly fun being with you and encouraging you to don't be a copycat. Forge your own success, because copycat only leads to failure in being yourself. So guys, we're gonna catch you next time. And the one thing I want you to do is leave a comment in the section below, because we want to hear what you want to talk about. And the cool thing is, if you leave a comment and give me a topic area that you want to hear talked about or discussed, guess what? We're going to do an episode on exactly that. So leave your comment below. Thanks for joining the Legacy Podcast, and we'll catch you guys next time.